Good afternoon,
Hey,
everyone.
hi.
I think everybody may be muted, so you may have to unmute yourself. We did start recording, but we'll just give it a couple more minutes for a few more people to log in.
Okay, sorry everyone, I'm going to be eating my lunch while we're in this meeting.
You don't have to apologize for that. You eat away. What do we
Sometimes you just got to fit your meals in when you can, right?
just got done right before this meeting? So we can live vicariously through your lunch. What are you eating today?
Oh, well, it's a spinach salad with goat cheese and beets.
Sounds good.
Yep. Trying to stock up on my antioxidants, right?
I agree with that. That's a smart plan right there.
Especially because this is the last meal that before my daughter leaves for her summer job.
Where's
So she's moving to Riggins, Idaho, and she's going to be a river guide.
Is she really?
Uh-huh.
Wonder where she got that passion from.
No idea. No idea. And yeah, so kind of like the last night we're all going to be together. So I got a chocolate cake with salted caramel frosting for dessert.
Nice.
So I thought, oh, I better eat my spinach salad for lunch.
I love that. It's that eternal counterbalance, you know.
Right.
In the 80s where people would get their Diet Coke with their quarter pounder with cheese, you know, just
Right.
No, there's nothing
not
wrong.
really that much of a thing anymore.
Life is about indulgence. You need to have a little bit of that. It just you can't have chocolate cake for every meal. As good as it sounds, you just can't do it.
It'll be delicious.
Yes.
Yeah, Coop, you might know. Do you remember that old Saturday Night Live skit with John Candy? I'm gonna live in a van down by the river.
Let me call you back in a minute.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we can't get that out of our heads because the river company, usually they have the guys sleep in bunkhouses, but because of COVID, they've asked that everybody sleep in their cars.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that was a great bit. Life didn't quite work out the way I wanted to. And blah, blah. He was just so good at doing it. What a loss. Actually, I think it's Chris Farley, though, right?
Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Since it is now 2 o'clock, and in the spirit of keeping everybody's time, we can go ahead and get started for today. I hope everybody's had a good week. Hey, Tim. Hey, Michelle.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. I hope my co-host is good and doesn't scream. If she does, I'll just mute myself. We hope
I
she
think
sleeps.
she's awesome.
Yeah. How's everybody doing? Let's start with that.
Well, it's a sunshiny, beautiful day here in Indiana. It's a bittersweet moment for me because this would technically be our last day of camp. Right about now, we would have been together as a staff. All of our campers, hopefully, knock on wood, would have been picked up, not at my house like we've had in some past years with my wife watching them while we figure out transportation issues. So yeah, been there, done that. I'm sure all of us have some experience with that. So yeah, it's been a tough week. I've been going through the whole week basically thinking, okay, today's Wednesday and we'd be doing this, that type of scenario. So
Yeah.
yeah. But the sun's shining and life is good, and I'm with some wonderful people here today, and so I'm gonna make some lemonade out of these lemons, right?
Nice.
How about the rest of you?
Yesterday I spent the entire day calling all of my campers that were registered for our kids program to let them and their families know that we would be moving to an online format. So I think I'm having a little bit of that similar melancholy.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to deliver that just yet. I was glad to have done it
Yeah.
by the phone and not just send out an email, but it was kind of hard to make all those phone calls.
I believe it. I believe that. Yeah, it's like giving bad news over and over and over and over again. Like with the IAFF, that's like one of my favorite phone calls always, because I get to call a camper and say, hey, guess what you get to do? You get to go to DC. It's kind of my Ellen DeGeneres or Oprah moment where I feel like you win a car and you win it just feels good because it's great news. You're delivering great news, but I can't imagine, it just doesn't feel good. Melancholy news.
Yeah. And I agree. I'm going to miss the IAFF call.
I know. That's always such a great call. It's sad. And the only sad part for me is that we can only send one, and you've got so many great 13, 18, 15 candidates. And you're like, man, who do we pick? But yeah, that'll be tough.
We're doing okay. There's always so many things that get uncovered as you start digging deeper into all of the ways to make virtual camp happen. The current stone that we've uncovered is kind of staffing, payments, expectations. How do we, with physical camp, they're there for the week. There are no distractions.
Right.
They're going to be there. So what if we have a staff member that says yes, and then due to unforeseen circumstances through family or job or life, can't be on these calls, and then we have to scramble to find somebody to be that second or third person in the room? We're kind of working through all that. One, and two, I don't know, maybe you feel the same way, Kristen, but being a part of a hospital isn't easy, and we're getting a lot of pushback from marketing, and we're having to fight that internal battle at the time when we should be allowed to do virtual camp, and it's not any fun getting a bunch of pushback from marketing on what we can and can't do.
And marketing has taken this huge stronghold, I think probably in every hospital system. Your brand is. But yeah, I had a back and forth this morning about what color the font could be on the t-shirts.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
And yesterday we send every burn patient, when they discharge, they get this t-shirt that has the new U logo on it, and it says, I am a survivor. And then it says Burn Center. And the new marketing is you're not allowed to say Burn Center, MICU, it can only say U Health because we're one U. So, but this says I'm a survivor, Burn Center, and it's been approved. We've been sending these home with patients for 3 years now. They love it. The staff love giving them to patients. And yesterday marketing went, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. And I had to, again, fight the big fight for, I'm like, come on, you guys. And we finally got it through, but it is amazing the kind of the power that marketing departments are exerting right now.
Yeah, and the current today was, and there's many more things in the queue, but today's was moving forward, all of your photos on your website have to display masks and social distancing.
Man, I loved you guys before, but I love you even more. Bless your hearts, man. We were
And
fortunate.
that's not the reality of camp.
Yeah.
Camp's happening virtually because we can't do that this year, but we will get back to camp. Camp will
Right.
exist in its physical form again, and it won't be physical social distancing and masks. Like, that is not the reality of camp.
Right.
It's
And you
also
don't have any stock
reality.
pictures of that.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about me.
No, I think that's cathartic because I think what you're going through is likely what some other folks are going through too. And in all honesty, I don't mean to dominate conversation, but whenever I've had my woe is me moment, I'm like, dang, Tim, I wish I could send you a 6-pack of beer because because you deserve it. That's just tough.
Thanks,
You know,
Coop.
and I've said for years, I've got a lot of cliches, but one of them is adults wreck good things for kids, because you get ego and agenda in this. And I know that they're not trying to purposely do that. Everybody's in a situation where they're trying to cover their rear end so they don't get, it's like Office Space, got to report to 10 bosses and EP reports. And you're like, can we just remove a little bureaucracy, just focus on making someone's
Yeah, exactly.
But I think the other interesting thing, Tim, is, and maybe other people are having this kind of conversation too, but what is the messaging that we're sending out with any of our photos? Like even things that I've posted, like work related on our social media site, I felt the need to like do a little addendum and say, this photo was taken before masking was like to kind of post-date things to sort of clarify we're not promoting not masking. Or is anybody sending masks in their Camp in a Boxes?
Camp Yopsuit's going to send some masks.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think we'll throw something in the box, whether it's a bandana or mask or something.
I'm sure a lot of you've gotten I've gotten 1 million and 2 emails from marketing companies for like designer masks.
Yeah, we're doing one with our little sun graphic, but that's not official marketing approved. So we're going unofficial channels. And so then I'm going to be worrying about, okay, we need to tell, the sun should be kind of small and we need to tell people to not take pictures.
That's funny.
Don't wear it on camera.
Yeah. or face this way. Anybody else dealing with some marketing hiccups that are further complicating their plans?
We are so thankful. This is Tessie. We are so thankful we don't have any marketing. The fire department hasn't made that a rule yet. I'm sure it's probably coming here soon, but I just feel so blessed from what you guys are going through.
Yeah, we're going into the children's homes where they don't wear a mask at home. So I'm not quite sure when you are visiting them virtually, why do they need a mask if they're home with their family?
We're just putting one in, I think, just for these are the times that we're in. We are hoping to be able to hold a very brief in-person ropes course experience for our kids in groups less than 20 outside. We're not sure, but we're hopeful that might be able to work. And then they'll need to have a mask for that.
I see.
And I think it's just, if it's something that you're going to have to wear all the time, to have a graphic that is something that is comforting and community building, could just be a positive for them. If they've got to wear it anyway, why not have something that has a positive?
And eventually they're gonna wander outside of their home. I kind of look at it like some of our families, like when our kids come and you see that they pack their bag and there's 3 pairs of underwear, 2 pairs of socks, none of it's clean, and you're like, Good. At least we got a couple camp T-shirts for them to take home. Masks kind of the same way. It might not have any functionality, during your virtual camp, but maybe they don't have a mask at home.
Right.
Not sure where to get one, what the resources are, or they don't believe in it. But you send them one, so I guess I'll use it.
Yeah, and maybe they'll wear if it's got camp logoing on it.
Yeah.
So for our organization, we don't have marketing because we're small. I'm probably marketing among the many other hats that I wear, like most of us. But we, I wouldn't call it pushback, but we have had some serious concern from our board about just the implications of online, and virtual programming, and kind of to what Tim was saying. We are really trying to figure out our volunteer situation, because you still need to background check them. They still need to go through all the abuse prevention trainings, screenings, all of those things. And so for us, we've had a lot of like back and forth conversation about what's the best way to do that. We have a lot of, we have a big LIT, or, however you call them, leaders in training, counselors in training group. And they make up our volunteer group. But, as those kids are really their first time coming to camp in a volunteer capacity, it's hard to want to throw them into, monitoring a conversation or, facilitating conversation when they've really never had to do that before. So we're kind of having a struggle with finding a good balance where our board feels comfortable about some of the online virtual stuff, just because, as we all know, it's just uncharted territories for so many. And you're trying to think through all the things that could go wrong and the things that could happen. And there's still like the whole other side of things that we haven't even thought about yet. I know that on a call I was on a work call, my boss was saying that he was in a support group and somebody started recording during the support group, and they ended up having to ask, the whoever was the host or moderator had to ask that person to leave, and ended up having to kind of shut them out. And so there was also somebody else in the group who there was like somebody in the background who was dressed inappropriately and was making inappropriate comments like during the call. And so it's just like that kind of stuff. And those are all adults. And so we know that and hope that adults have, sense. They don't always. And so then giving kids, that space as well. So we're having some conversation just about how do we find a balance of that. And I'm not sure we're going to do that within the next week and a half before our camp starts online. So yeah, I don't know if anybody else is kind of dealing with that, just even from like board or, anybody else on your team, just trying to think through those implications.
This is Tessie again, and I apologize. I am just trying to learn this type of media. So other people can record other than the host.
Right, I didn't know that either.
That's a whole different level of, oh my goodness.
Okay, so I think I don't exactly know how it happened. I think that they may have been recording either from their computer screen or even, because like on your iPhone, you can do a screen record. There's that thing. And so I think the way that I understood what happened, it alerted the host that somebody had initiated a recording, because like we're recording right now. And everybody, I don't know if you can see it, but like I can see on my side that this is being recorded. So I'm not sure how, but I mean, somebody could also just hold their phone up. Like any one of you could hold your phone up to the screen and record,
Yeah.
It's like if someone's watching a sporting event and they hold their phone up and they record it.
Exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah. 'Cause I know you can, like, if you're not the host, you can't like record through the platform. But I think some people are smart at working around.
What are people planning on doing for their kids? So our kids camp, the one that we're doing online, is for 6 to 12-year-olds. And then we have a separate program for 13 to 17-year-olds and for our counselors and leadership training. But for our 12-year-olds who it's their last year in this program, we've done a graduation ceremony. And do people have ideas on how they're going to hold things like that online?
Yeah, this is Tessie. We are going to our kids graduate at 17, and so I believe we're going to allow them to come back one last year, and then they'll have their ceremony the following year, which could be good and could be bad. We'll find out.
One thing that we're doing, it's not this quite the same, Kristen, but an idea. I shouldn't say we're doing it because it's just an idea, but it's the same thing that Tessie's saying about our seniors graduating. But we usually do a really nice collage because most of our kids, I think probably like you guys, they come for, you know, many, many years. And so we do a really nice, we send it to a framer. It's very expensive. It's a huge collage of their years at camp. But since we can't do that this year in the same, because we usually our closing ceremony, somebody gets up and says some words about them. It's probably something similar to what you guys do. But I think we're going to do like an online one to share where we would like maybe do the same thing with like collage and pictures and try to share it and do it that way where it was like we maybe put it together. I've even toyed with the idea of doing like a vid hug of having some of our volunteers record some messages, you know, to those specific campers because we have volunteers who've kind of walked alongside them through that. So I don't know if maybe for that age group you could do some like well wish it, you know, some video or something that might be, you know, just kind of signify that transition.
That's nice. That's a good idea.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll be doing something similar for our graduating campers. Just every year we do like a collage like video set to music and some nice words in there and quotes and things, and there's lots of crying from the campers. It's very emotional because, you know, anything set to music. So we'll be doing that, and we'll probably, I don't know, I'm hoping we can maybe show that like the last night on like our closing ceremony with all the kids, I'm hoping, and then the kids get that video to have as a memory too. So like on a flash drive, or we'll email it to their parents.
Nice. Okay, these are good ideas.
Another thought I just had, what about including something in the camper box if the people are mailing to the boxes of the campers, that since it's only a handful or a small number of campers, an extra little item saying congratulations or happy trails kind of thing in recognition of them graduating would be nice. And I really like the digital slideshow, Mackenzie, and being able to play, even if it's just a minute and a half or 2 minutes for everybody to see to recognize those campers that are graduating, that'd be nice.
Yeah, really nice. Those are good ideas. Thank you.
Has anybody on the call already hosted their camp virtually? Want to share how that went? I don't know. I know it's still early, but has anybody done theirs already?
Is Daniel doing his right now?
I thought so.
Camp, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. This is Tessie again. How are you guys creating your schedule? Are you doing in like 15-minute increments or?
I'm still in the process of creating my schedule, and I'm working with the Lower University of Utah campus, so we're going to have it like a college course, an online college course through their online learning department, and that way everything goes through like the extra firewalls and HIPAA security, and it can kind of be stored and last forever. The live things that we're doing are actually pretty limited just because of some of the issues that have already been brought up. We'll do a live Zoom kind of camper check-in, and then we're going to actually do a parent chat every day because I think that parents might need some checking in more than we usually do. And then we're going to have a series of videos that are laid out in order of the actual camp events that they coincide with. So like our opening flag ceremony at camp, we always do a big thing with one of the fire departments, comes with all the pipes and drums and So we're going to have that group talk a little bit about the history of pipes and drums in fire departments, and then do a quick lesson on drumming and piping. So that'll be kind of early on. So we're trying to like coincide things with the order it normally happens. But the thing I like about having the videos is, say they take a family vacation that weekend because they've always missed their family reunion, and now they can do it. They can watch things in whatever order works for them too. And then there'll be a couple of other live things, like we're looking into how to run the video live, and we're looking at the movie for movie night, and we're looking at like doing a dance party via Zoom. So those things will of course be time sensitive. I don't know, does that answer your question?
Yeah. You're going to be having it all day then, and not just a few hours each day?
Well, the live stuff will just be a few hours a day, and then there will be enough content between the craft activities and the videos and things that, because we'll do like yoga videos and some a Zumba video and different things like that, that they could probably fill most of their day, but it won't be, we're not providing content for 16 hours of a day.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Is anybody providing like a full day of content, and how are you doing that?
We're doing all live interactive sessions, for better or worse. So talk about volunteers and several at each session, but we're doing for over a period of 3 weeks, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and we're doing an hour and a half sessions for the young ones and an hour and a half for the old ones. And part of it will be a chat, and then part of it will be similar to what you were talking about in terms of cooking or yoga or fitness, fun fitness, or an art project. And all of the materials will come in their box first, but it will be all interactive. And then at the end, we'll have a dress up dinner that hopefully the parents or even in the family will dress up, whoever would like to. And we'll also have a dance at the end. Again, interactive.
Nice.
So we're planning, and again, if everybody comes through and says they'll do what they're going to do and have alternates and have people there with them to talk to the kids and call their names and keep it interactive. And our camp is Camp Susquehanna, where usually would be next week. Early in June, well, as soon as school is out, but we couldn't get it together. So we're doing it in July, which is a different time for the kids. So who knows who will be there. But so and an hour and a half is long, but we're going to aim for that.
Yeah, we're going to try to do for the whole week 2-hour increments, and then a campfire every night for an hour, and then have videos that they can watch through like YouTube or what have you. But gosh, having it through the college sounds like an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll work. It's all new to me. I'm learning all these new skills. But it'll also make it so we can use the university Zoom account, which is kind of has an extra layer of security. Yeah, because that gets tricky too.
That's nice.
I was laughing because I love those realizations, Kristen. Oh yeah, wait, there's that.
It's so much to think about, don't you guys think?
Yeah. And has anybody come up with thoughts around staffing expectation, or if something comes up, how do you find a substitute, or how do we appropriately pay these people for their time leading up to and the week of virtual camp?
Oh, we're all volunteers, so we don't get paid to do anything, but we have a lot of return counselors that are going to be in charge of. We're going to do a group thing all together, and then they're going to go into their cabin groups, and so the cabin leaders are going to facilitate the interaction with the smaller groups. And some of them are committing the whole week, and because we're just doing time frames, a lot of them are just going to commit to the time frame, and then there'll be 2 to 3 adults. So if one can't come, there'll still be at least 2, and then our planning committee will jump in where we need to if somebody can't make it. So
We're doing the
we have
same
backup.
thing. Yeah, we got the same thing. We have actually we have, it seems like a lot more volunteers than we have campers coming. So it's kind of good. And same thing as Tess, we are segregating time frames so that everyone can pick a time slot that would work best with their schedule. But we don't seem to have a shortage on people wanting to do this. And I think because we've known our campers, because again, we're just in San Diego County, and they've kind of followed us throughout different activities throughout the year. There's a certain relationship that's already been developed with the parents as well. So we're limiting it to, again, just about an hour a day in the evening. And again, creating a library, like Kristen, creating a library of go-to activities that they can pull up on the day that they're doing it, and then reserving the about an hour to an hour and a half every day on certain things where they can actually discuss what they did during that day with the activities. So it's a little bit more like a recap, and a way to engage a conversation on something that they would have done during the day. So it's looking like it's coming together. Our camp is still about 7 weeks out, so we're still in the process of putting it all together. But thanks.
Thank you.
Are you guys going to be doing a run through of camp? Like try to, before your camp comes, try to do like a mock camp for 1 week, or?
No.
No.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the kids are already using this technology for school and with their skirts, so they're used to it. But I think it's us adults are going to be the ones that need to practice a little more.
Yeah.
We're going to look at making sure that we connect with campers the week prior to, so to kind of troubleshoot some of those barriers up front and make sure that they can get logged in and they know how to use it. Like you said, I think a lot of the kids will know. And then we're hoping that the planning meetings via Zoom that we're doing prior will problem solve some of those adult issues or counselor issues, if you will, far enough in advance that we can help bring up those staff that need that additional help.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's the kids that need the help. They've been online and on the screen and following directions in school for months now. But I do believe, I think when I think about doing this, it's how, if we will connect and how we do it. So that's a great suggestion, to do something beforehand and not wait until that week.
I had a question just kind of along the same lines. How are you guys doing and we may have talked about it before, I can't remember, your like liability waivers and forms? Are you guys still mailing those? Like we have a traditional form that, the parents sign, blah, every single thing that could possibly go wrong is not our fault, and blah, blah, blah. And so what, are you guys still doing those physically, or have you guys already moved to online electronic signatures, or does anybody have? I know it's different state to state with some things, but I'm interested to see what people are doing with that.
Yeah, we're still mailing ours and then having them send the hard copy, because we like to see if they'll send a photo of the camper so that we can kind of see how they've grown. And but we do all of ours still paper. But we do our background checks on the adults through a automated system. But we fill out a paper form and then we run it through the process.
We do our applications through CampDoc, and so the university did make a new liability waiver that includes online interaction with children. And so I just submitted that to CampDoc, and then parents can electronically sign. And then we have a copy on hand all the time of their electronic signature. So that got changed, you know, just a couple weeks ago. So a lot of people had already completed the old waiver, so they had to complete the new waiver. And even just that simple thing caused a lot of confusion for folks, though. So.
Are you allowed to share a sample of that?
The
online disclosure?
Oh, the liability waiver that includes the online piece. Yeah.
Oh, that would be great if you could. I can type in my email if you want.
Yeah,
we're the same as Kristen. Ours are all online, and we send everything through. We have a risk department, so everything comes back from risk. We just tell them kind of what we're looking at and what we're doing, and they say this is what they need to sign. I do like calling it the "it's not our fault" waiver, though. That's a good suggestion.
Even though we all know that's not true.
I'm looking for the waiver right now.
We've also added some issues like that you were talking about, that if we need to close someone out, or if it's not appropriate behavior, or some issues at home that we may have to, even though everyone is included, regardless of race, creed, and all of that, we may have to exclude them based on behavior or something happening at the moment, so that they are aware of that.
Hey, Mackenzie, if you can figure out how to allow me to screen share, I can pull up our new waiver.
Kristen, can you also put it on the Google Share Drive so people can see it?
Yes, I can try and do that.
Okay, Kristen, I made you a co-host. It should allow you. Sorry,
Okay.
my other co-host is woken up, so
There's 3 co-hosts now?
there's another co-host here.
I'm trying to find, there's just like one sentence that they changed to include online. It was a pretty minimal change.
Yeah, we use something similar, not as much information, but we do use something similar as well. We just had to include that one piece about online. But what I've done though is, and they're still in the process of getting it approved with our insurance company, is I took some of the waivers that was included in my son's high school class, because they were all going to distance learning. So I took some of that same verbiage and plopped it into ours, and we're going to see if that gets approved by the insurance carrier. But I figured they would know what they're doing, the schools would, so they would have the most stringent type form of liability waiving.
Right. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, Anita, I've been having a hard time figuring out how to include things from my secure network into the shared Google Drive. Yeah, some things working for a big university get complicated, right, Tim?
Oh, absolutely. You probably have to download it to your PC or laptop and then upload it from there. If you can do that, if you're allowed, if that access is allowed to your hard drive.
It shouldn't be that complicated, right?
Well, but a lot of times it is.
Yep.
Thank you anyway. If everybody can share their forms and things like that, it's really helpful to other people so we don't all have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
question on a little bit of a different subject. People mentioned graduating campers, and one of the things I've been wondering about and wondering how other people might be thinking about how to really welcome new campers, because I think it's a real different vibe for people that kind of know what your camp is all about and they've been there before and they already know about the traditions and how things. So I've been given a lot of thought how to really make it a special virtual experience for people joining us the first time.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I think for us, we're asking the parents to send a photo so that we can put it into like a little slideshow so they feel included, even though of them doing something fun, not like a school picture, so that we can try to make them feel as included as we can. And then hopefully the head counselor will, communicate with that child so they get to know each other a little bit, and then it'll be an easy transition. But it's kind of a hard year to be new.
Yeah.
Michelle, you bring up a great point, because I think for a lot of us, I know for myself, I've been so concerned with all our graduating campers and really thinking about their experience that I haven't really given a lot of thought to what it would be like. I know we would have one kid in particular who, his family came to our family program for the first time, but this would have been his first year at camp, and his parents had kind of shared some of the disappointment, and different things. And so I'm not sure, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about that. So I think that's definitely a topic, that needs to be explored a little bit more.
Agreed.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're accepting those campers on kind of an individual or as needed basis, and then making sure that we're having conversations with the families up front, just kind of going over camp and what it normally looks like, some of the agreements and things like that, so they kind of have an idea of what to expect and how camp kind of runs in its physical sense, and then what they can kind of expect in the virtual sense. But I think it's important to have those conversations with those new families up front so that they have a better idea of what it's going to look like and what the expectations are.
Yeah, really, that's some good food for thought, Michelle.
I have to go, but I just wanted to thank you guys for letting me jump in on the meeting, and hopefully I can come and I'm going to go back with some of these questions, and hopefully next week I'll be able to tell you what we're planning on.
Oh, good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Tessie, will you remind me what camp you're from?
Oh, Camp Yapsut
in
Seattle. Yeah.
With JD. Yeah.
With JD. Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. One of the things that, we work with a partner organization who works with about like 40 or 60 other camps who work with kids with special needs and life challenges and diseases. And so we're pretty fortunate. They're actually building our entire platform. It's something they're going to use for all their partners. So, but one of the things they're doing, and I don't know if other people are doing this, they're putting together like an online safety video that the parents have to watch prior to getting into the platform.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm really glad for. I haven't seen it yet to know, what it looks like, but because our expectation is whatever the kids are doing on the computer, the parents should be present for. Part of that, I think, is to make sure that, they're being monitored. I don't know. Obviously, we can't really necessarily enforce that, but the expectation is that the parents would know at all times what their kids are doing. But I'm really looking forward to the safety video, because I hope in the same way that we have our volunteers do the abuse prevention, that it could have, a little bit further reach just outside of camp. So I'm hoping that maybe some of our families, it may make them, kind of rethink online safety and just access to the internet, which is a whole, it's like camp is about disconnecting from technology, and now we're like, wait, connect to technology. So I was wondering if any other people or anybody else is doing anything like that. I haven't seen it yet, but I'd love to know if anybody else is doing something similar.
We aren't, but we're not affiliated in Wisconsin with any universities. So that's something I'm looking into because I think it's really important. So if anybody else has suggestions, I'm excited to hear what they are because that's something we're obviously exploring.
I mean, I definitely have created a document that I sort of, I stole some stuff from a document Jess Irvin made for the Phoenix Society on just internet safety and parent expectations and youth participant expectations. And that's just going to be a part of our online program for parents to read through that. Yeah, I think it definitely feeds into my personal reticence with having more on live interactive experiences than I feel like I can be present for. I might be being a little bit controlling, but I'm kind of nervous it makes me nervous.
Yeah, Kristen, I agree. We made the decision to cut off all of our live opportunities because the way our platform would work is the kids would be like in classrooms with their cabin units with, at least 2 volunteers to have the rule of 3. And, we just made the decision we didn't think that was going to be possible to do. However, there's still going to be other live environments, and we'll still have to have people present, but it won't be like, small little classrooms where kids, are having intimate conversation. My biggest concern was around disclosures and how we handle mandated reporting, what that would look like. And, obviously all our volunteers are mandated reporters, but if you see, if something, is in the background, you just don't know, the rabbit hole. And I'm sure, people who've done home visits or any of those things, have experience around it, but it's just, this is such uncharted territory to know what is required and how, because all those things don't happen in an online setting. They weren't, mandated reporting wasn't set up in an online setting to know what, how to do that properly and make sure that our kids are safe and make sure that our volunteers, but to try to pay attention to every single little square on your screen at all times. We just are really trying to figure out what's the best way to do that and provide a safe environment, because we all, it's like we're not doing camp in person because we couldn't ensure everybody was safe physically, and so how can we also do that in an online environment? And that's something that we're really struggling with, trying to figure out what, I don't know that there's a right answer, but what is the answer? And I think because things are changing so quickly, there's not clear answers out there to know. I don't know anybody else I wonder if it may be similar, now that we're talking, I just wonder how teledoc, some of how that stuff is changing, and all of that. I wonder, it may not work, but there may be some, overlap for us. There may be some things there that we might find useful in the future.
But one of the things with telemedicine is it's a physician or a provider and one patient. And with even, because we do, our support group has always had the option for people to call in and participate via telehealth if they're, live far away. And then we've had the in-person component, and now we're just running group via, virtual. But it's adults, and that component is a little bit different, but there is a piece of, making sure where people are calling from. If you do have to, send out a wellness check, or, it does raise different issues. So our kid's gonna call in when they're on vacation and they're calling from their family cabin, and we don't know that, and they say something concerning, and how do we send a wellness check? Yeah, so there's a lot of layers to really think about.
Talk through some of that, Kristen, because wow, that's a new one. I hadn't thought of that. If they're not at their home address, do we need to capture the information about where they're going to be physically connecting to camp?
I mean, that's something that I've been running through my head. Like, where are you right now might need to be kind of something that we have people log in, and that's just, as we're talking, that's something that is coming up in my head. I know when the Phoenix Society and when Alicia and Rush, when they do their online chat groups, they do ask people to sign in and say where they are, like enter their address. So I'm wondering if that's something we even need to do for campers. I'm writing myself a note to look into that.
I'm actually thinking if we should let the parents know that this is what's going to happen as part of the agenda. So that, because I'm already looking at having these small groups going into their little cabins, but I didn't want them to go in there with not just with their counselors, but also with our therapists. And when we're at camp, we would actually schedule out so that the therapists can go to different cabins at different times. But if we're going to do it all at one time, we're trying to group it. So I've got a few different therapists that will be going into these rooms. One of the things that I was thinking on doing on our end is putting it in the agenda as to when we're going to be doing these little group settings, so that would be the only time that I would need them to let me know where they're going to be at. And we're actually looking at it at the beginning of the week versus the end of the week. So as soon as they get their box, they know what's going on. This is what we're going to do, just like a quick check-in, but kind of incorporate that at the beginning. And because we're letting the parents know that in order for the kids to get online, that the parents have to be aware of what they're doing, they have to technically for us sign off on it, that that's what they would like their kids to do. We do have a couple of parents that did say that their child would be at their other parents for the summer. So they're giving us that address so we can send the box to them and the paperwork to that parent. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm thinking might end up happening on our end when we start that whole process.
Yeah. Yeah, all these things to think about. And then Michelle just threw out a really great question to the group. Does anybody else have a camper that is visually impaired? And how are you going to include that person in virtual camp?
We don't have any.
Yeah, we don't either. We have two different campers whose both parents are deaf, but we don't have anybody with visual impairment.
Michelle, you got some hard-hitting questions today. I appreciate you being here.
We tried.
I'm sorry, I'm late. I'm Lisa. She's such a star.
Yeah, I think, Michelle, if you guys figure that out, maybe let the group know, because I bet that's. Have you checked like the American Camping Association or the American Camp Nurses Association? Their discussion boards, especially with the ACA, people are asking those questions, those really hard questions, and people are throwing them out. The other one is there's a Facebook group called Virtual Camp Discussion, I think is what it's called. And people are just throwing questions like that out and getting a lot of great answers. Let me see if I can find the name of that group. Virtual Camp Ideas Group.
Okay.
And people are throwing lots of ideas out there, right. and questions.
I think my, like I work, with Paul Schwartzman, that is
the kids that don't have, you know, the means to follow us online. Because I know we're not a big association, you know.
I think there's some groups that are doing flash drives to send ahead. So if kids don't have internet access, they can use a flash drive, but they'd still have to have a computer. But lots of kids, when libraries start to open back up, they can go into libraries with the flash drive, I think.
Okay.
In Philadelphia, and I don't know about other cities or states, but all of the kids who didn't have access, who didn't have computers at home or connections, were given by the school district Chromebooks and supported connections. And so we are now discussing with the school district, because the kids will have their Chromebooks all summer, so that they will have permission to use those Chromebooks for camp, as well as, so we're still working with, I didn't know if they were going to stop the support for the internet or the connection when school stops, or whether that would continue also. So we're in discussion, but that's what we know that all of the kids have had that access for school, and so we thought we could use that that capability if possible. And they're fine. They're because they're not returning it until September, or when school will start again. So they will have it over the summer. So we're continuing to explore the details, but that might be an idea.
I know here on our end, our kids have to hand in all their work and everything by, I think, June 11th.
Yeah, our kids hand in their work, but they don't hand in their Chromebook. So
their Chromebook. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's a plus anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm just worried that they've all been on screens for so long, so many days and so many hours, as forced. I mean, I think kids always love to be on the screen, but they've been there, and I don't know whether they'll be screened out, that just, oh yeah, there's another activity, or there's something else from camp. I'm just not sure. I mean, I think the interaction, and what are we trying to have? We're trying to get them to interact and see each other and feel that camaraderie. But as for the, they've been so many crafts and exercise and all these programs for so long that I'm curious to see how it will go, if one more or some of that with the kids, or whether they'll stop their activity during the day to actually do this. So
it is a gamble. Yeah,
I mean, because at camp, together they build up the feeling, the bubble sort of encloses around them, and they develop the camaraderie and the feeling between them. But at home, they're in a different world. So so I think that'll be interesting. Yes, we're all hoping.
I have 12 grandkids, and out of the 12, 2 of them literally have major meltdowns where they I want to hug family, and they totally shut down from the classroom. So, I mean, they're not in the, my one granddaughter is the sister of the 6-year-old that just totally melts down. So I wouldn't have a problem on that and in the burn community part of it, but just as the kids being online so much and getting thrown so much, they're melting down.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if anybody mentioned, but we have, as part of our liability, which I'll try and post it, but so the parents are aware that we're all mandated reporters. going into the home. And so that, they just are aware of that. And so that if we would feel that we need to report anything, they have approved that they're aware that that is our duty to do that. So we've mentioned it outright. So I don't know, it wouldn't be a surprise, but not that it's not difficult. It is.
With us? Is Paul with us today?
I don't think he is.
Because he was, I think, like, we're mandated reporters when we're at camp, but not out of camp. But if we're doing like camp,
Well, yeah, but we had to, I mean, it's different if it's live or if we're in the home, we're actually participating or they're participating. So, it's sort of a discussion of, and it's just visual if we see something.
Okay. Or if they say something to you, because we've had kids that just came up to us out of nowhere and have told us things.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So the benefits or the trials and tribulations of doing it live, I mean, still not convinced. It's all up in the air, but so we won't have to worry about control of what they're watching because we don't have anything for them to watch, but we do have all the other inherent problems of the live. So.
Well, as people start getting their camps up and running, I can't wait for this meeting to have people reporting back. This is what worked great. This is where we'd love for you to learn from us. Because I think we're all going to have some amazing hits. And I think we'll each maybe have a miss or ooh, I would do that differently next time. What do they call that? I had an old manager that tried to reframe everything to, it's a learning opportunity.
I was going to say the same thing, that hopefully we'll learn from this, but hopefully we won't have to learn that much because maybe next year we don't have to do this again. We could see them in person.
Yeah.
We're on a learning curve.
Yeah. We are. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So we just have 2 minutes left. Is there anybody who hasn't really brought anything up that has something they want to bring to the group?
My assistant.
I love her.
Thank you. Well,
It's been really helpful. I think this is just nice to hear other people talk and on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad, Marcia. That's the idea, is that even if, you know, we don't have a lot of answers, sometimes just coming together just to say, oh, wait, you too? That's important.
Me too, and that's good.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been rich conversation. I know I've taken a lot away from, you know, different things. And I think it's the power of this community is that we can all, you know, be together, even though we're alone. We can be alone together in this, and we can also, you know, we're working towards the same goal. And I'm always impressed, and it's such an honor and a privilege to be among people who are working really hard to provide something meaningful. And I think it's a testament to the work that we do and the people we serve, because it would be a lot easier to just say, well, no camp, the end. And that would be okay to do that, to say we just can't do it. But I'm impressed at all the different ways and creative ways that people are coming up with, you know, to find connection in a time when there's really a difficult time. So I commend all of you for the hard work you're doing. I know there's people who, like myself, get to work full-time for the organization, other people who are volunteering their time on top of a full-time job. And my hat is off to you to do that. And that, you know, your passion is really inspiring. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. And hope you'll keep coming back on Fridays at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern, and all the other times in between. And if anybody wants to stay on the call, if anybody wants to keep talking, that's fine. I can make you the host. You just tell me if people want to. I know the last time we sat for one of the first ones we sat for 2 extra hours and just chatted. So if anybody wants to sit and stay talking, you are welcome to. If you'll just let me know, I'll make you the host. That way I don't cut you off.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, baby.
Your co-host wants to stay.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you all.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry I was late. Hopefully next Friday I won't be working at all. So
Well, it's nice to see you.
And thank you for all that you do.
Do you want to say something?
Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Look at those
Thank
eyes.
you, Leilani.
She's so alert.
She looks just like her dad, huh?
Hello, kitty.
Bye, everyone.
Oh,
Bye.
all.
Bye, you guys. Have a great
you all.
weekend. Take care.
Great to see you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Too.